coaxed. "If Johnny finds out, mine will be too," she assured him. "Do what the rest of us do. Go and beg from the news record. They go to press every Tuesday, so this story will be old news by the time their next edition comes out. They'll share with you." She grinned as she said it. The news record was a small weekly newspaper, but its reporters were always on the spot when news broke. And they didn't mind sharing one of their less important photos with the big dailies, as long as their photographer got credit. He sighed. "Well, beggars can't be choosers. Okay, doll, thanks anyway." He started to bend down to kiss her cheek, but she stepped back jerkily. "You'll give me bulletin germs," she exclaimed, making a joke out of it. He shook his head. "Leave it to you. Thanks anyway, Cane." He chuckled and walked out the front door whistling. Bowie hadn't said anything. He had a cigarette in his hand, and he was watching her like a hawk. "Bullets?" he asked, moving closer. "A robbery. The perpetrator got $20. He killed a store manager and took a pregnant woman hostage and threatened to kill her. They had to drop him." She lowered her eyes. "He was little more than a boy. The police reporter is out sick, so I had to cover the story. I don't do the police beat anymore," she added, trying to ward off trouble. "Bullets?" he repeated, his voice deeper, rougher this time. She looked up. "I'm 24 years old. This is my job. I don't need your permission to do it. It was just this one time." "Count your blessings," he said curtly. He glanced toward the receptionist, who smiled at him, and turned away uncomfortably. "Let's go." Gaby winked at Trissa as they passed her, but Bowie kept his eyes straight ahead, pausing only to open the door for Gaby and lead her to his black Scorpio. She sank into the soft leather seat with a sigh and let her eyes wander over the dashboard. It was a honey of a car. She wished she could afford one. He got in beside her, making sure her seatbelt was fastened before he clicked his own into place and started the car. "Does your receptionist make a habit of staring at people that way?" he asked irritably as he pulled out into traffic. "I was beginning to feel like a museum exhibit." "Look in the mirror sometime," she murmured, only half humorously. "I used to have girlfriends by the dozen in college, until they learned that you didn't live at Casa Rio. It rather spoiled their dreams of the perfect weekend vacation." He gave her a cold glance. "I hate being chased." "Don't look at me." She held up her hands in mock horror. "I'm the last woman you'll ever have to beat off." "So I've noticed." He eased the car into another lane. "You still don't like being touched, I see." "Wilson is a womanizer," she murmured. "I don't like that kind of man." "You don't like men, period. You're damned lucky that Aggie doesn't know what a hermit you are. She'd have you on the guest list of every party that featured even one single man." "I know." She sighed and glanced at his perfect profile. "You won't give me away, will you?" "Have I ever?" She ran a hand over the back of her neck. "We don't see that much of each other, so how do you know about my social life?" He lit another cigarette. "You're soaked. Do you want to go to your apartment and change before we go to the restaurant?" "Yes, I'd like to, if you don't mind." Then she thought about Bowie in her apartment, and something inside her retreated. He saw that haunted look out of the corner of his eye. "You're safe with me, Gaby. I hope you knew that without my having to say it." She swallowed. He read her all too well. She stared at her slender, ringless fingers. "I know. I'm just a little shaken by this afternoon. I don't do police news anymore, and it's been a long time since I've seen anybody shot." "What a hell of a line of work you chose," he said. "I like it, most of the time." She clasped her fingers, because reaction was beginning to set in. It always amazed her how calm she was while she was getting a story, but after covering this kind of story, she went to pieces after the numbness wore off. Sometimes she had nightmares, and there was usually nobody to talk to about them. She couldn't tell Aggie because the older woman disapproved of her work anyway and had tried to get her to quit. She had no close friends. "You said you aren't still on the police beat?" he asked, conversationally.